All right, welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive into today's most important current affairs?
Absolutely.
Remember, we're focusing on what you need to know as a UPSC aspirant.
That's right.
So grab your notebooks and let's get started with part 2 of our February 27th, 2025 update.
We've got a lot to cover today, and don't worry if some of it sounds a little familiar.
Oh, yeah.
A little revision never hurts when you're prepping for the UPSC.
Absolutely. Think of it like layers of understanding. The more we revisit these key topics, the better you'll grasp the nuances and connections. By the way, if you're finding this helpful, hit that like button and subscribe to stay updated on all things UPSC.
All right, let's kick things off with a potential trade war brewing.
Uh-oh.
It's India and the U.S. this time.
Okay, trade wars, always a tricky situation. So what's the latest development?
The U.S. is considering slapping higher tariffs on imports from several countries, including India.
I see.
Their stated goal is to address trade imbalances, but the potential fallout is pretty significant.
Trade wars rarely have simple solutions, do they? What kind of impact are we talking about for India?
Well, a report from the Global Trade Research Initiative estimates that Indian exports could face an additional tariff of 4.9%.
Really?
That's a big jump from the current 2.8%, and it translates to billions of dollars potentially at stake.
Wow, that's not insignificant. Which sectors are going to be hit the hardest?
Agriculture is definitely in the line of fire. We could see tariffs as high as 38.2% on things like shrimp, dairy products, and processed foods. That could seriously disrupt those industries and impact livelihoods.
So it's not just about numbers on a balance sheet. There are real-world consequences for farmers and producers. What about sectors beyond agriculture?
Pharmaceuticals, diamonds, and electronics are also facing potential risks.
Okay.
For example, the pharmaceutical industry could see tariffs jump by 10.9%.
Hmm.
That could make Indian generic medicines less competitive globally, which is a concern given our role in providing affordable healthcare solutions.
So this trade situation has layers of complexity with potential impacts on economics, healthcare, and international relations. What options does India have to navigate this? Are we talking tit-for-tat tariffs?
Retaliatory tariffs are always a possibility,
Right.
but there might be more strategic approaches. The report suggests that India could proactively engage with the U.S. and propose alternative tariff structures.
Interesting.
Maybe even a targeted zero-for-zero approach where both sides agree to eliminate tariffs on specific products.
Interesting. So a bit of a balancing act, protecting our interests while also trying to find common ground. I imagine data accuracy plays a role here too.
Absolutely. Ensuring that both sides are working with the same set of reliable trade data is crucial. Any discrepancies need to be addressed so tariff decisions aren't based on faulty information.
Transparency and data accuracy, that's a good takeaway for any UPSC aspirant. Okay, let's move on from potential trade wars to more positive development. India's wind power sector is expected to experience significant growth over the next few years.
Indeed. We're looking at a projected doubling of wind power capacity, reaching 63 gigawatts by fiscal year 2027.
Wow.
It's a testament to India's commitment to renewable energy and a positive step towards a more sustainable future.
That's a serious boost to our renewable energy goals.
Yeah.
What's driving this growth spurt? Is it all about favorable wind conditions?
Favorable locations certainly help, but it's much more than that. The government has been proactive in implementing policies that incentivize renewable energy development.
Okay.
Initiatives like the National Wind-Solar Hybrid Policy encourage hybrid projects that combine wind and solar power.
Makes sense. Harnessing both wind and solar resources maximizes energy generation and ensures a more reliable supply. What other policies are contributing to this wind power boom?
The offshore wind energy policy is a big one. It encourages the development of wind farms off India's extensive coastline, particularly in states like Gujarat and Tamil Nadu, which have high wind potential.
So tapping into both onshore and offshore wind resources, that's smart. And are there any policy initiatives aimed at the consumer side of things?
Yes, absolutely. The Green Energy Open Access rules are designed to make it easier for consumers to access renewable energy sources like wind power.
Okay.
This creates a larger market for renewable energy and encourages further investment.
So it's like a ripple effect. Government policies encourage production, which then makes it easier for consumers to adopt cleaner energy sources. Speaking of global challenges, let's talk about a topic that's been weighing heavily on everyone's minds: nuclear weapons.
The UN Secretary General's recent warning about nuclear weapons being a one-way road to annihilation was a stark reminder of the existential threat we face.
Right.
It's a complex issue with no easy solutions, but ignoring it is not an option.
It's a heavy topic,
Yeah.
but crucial for any UPSC aspirant to understand. The doomsday clock inching closer to midnight adds to the anxiety. What are the key factors driving this heightened sense of nuclear threat?
Geopolitical tensions are definitely playing a role.
Okay.
As global power dynamics shift, there's a heightened sense of mistrust and competition among nations, which can lead to military buildups and posturing.
It's like a high-stakes game of chess, but the pieces are nuclear warheads. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Are there any specific flashpoints we should be paying attention to?
Well, the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine has raised concerns about potential escalation.
Hmm.
And then there are the tensions in the South China Sea, with multiple countries vying for control of strategic waterways. These are just a few examples, but any conflict involving nuclear-armed states has the potential to spiral out of control.
So, vigilance and a deep understanding of these geopolitical dynamics are essential. What about the role of international agreements and treaties? Are they helping to keep things in check?
International frameworks like the Non-Proliferation Treaty, NPT, are designed to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons and promote disarmament.
Okay.
However, these agreements are facing challenges as some countries question their relevance or even threaten to withdraw.
That's a worrying trend. If those safeguards start to crumble, it could create a much more dangerous world. What about the role of emerging technologies like artificial intelligence? Could they add to the nuclear threat?
AI is a double-edged sword.
Right.
On one hand, it has the potential to enhance early warning systems and improve decision-making, potentially reducing the risk of accidental launches.
Okay.
But on the other hand, the prospect of AI being used to control nuclear weapons is deeply unsettling.
Oh, wow.
Imagine autonomous systems making life-or-death decisions without human oversight. That's a scenario we need to avoid at all costs.
It sounds like something out of a science fiction dystopia, but the reality is that technology is evolving rapidly, and we need to think critically about its implications, especially when it comes to something as sensitive as nuclear weapons.
Absolutely. And that's where the role of ethics and international cooperation comes in. We need to establish clear guidelines and regulations for the development and use of AI in the military context.
I see.
It's about ensuring that human judgment and ethical considerations remain at the forefront of any decision-making process involving nuclear weapons.
That's a crucial point. Technology should serve humanity, not the other way around.
Hmm.
All right, let's shift gears to a more hopeful topic, the growth of India's space economy.
Indeed, India's space sector is on a trajectory for remarkable growth. We're looking at a potential five-fold increase in the coming years, contributing significantly to India's vision of becoming a developed nation by 2047.
Five-fold growth, that's impressive.
Hmm.
What's fueling this ambition? Is it purely about scientific exploration, or are there other factors at play?
It's a combination of factors. There's the scientific drive, of course, the desire to push the boundaries of human knowledge and explore the vast unknown. But it's also about national pride, economic opportunity, and using space technology to address real-world challenges here on Earth.
So it's about harnessing the power of space for the benefit of humanity, both on a cosmic scale and in our everyday lives. Could you give us some specific examples of how space technology is being used to solve problems here on Earth?
Absolutely. One great example is ISR's NAVIC system, our indigenous navigation system. It's enhancing positioning and connectivity, especially in remote areas, which is essential for everything from disaster management to transportation and logistics.
So it's not just about launching satellites, it's about developing technologies that have tangible benefits for people on the ground. What about the economic side of things? How is India's space sector contributing to the economy?
The Indian space economy is already valued at $8.4 billion, representing about 2% of the global market share.
Okay.
But the government is aiming for a much bigger slice of the pie, targeting 8% by 2033.
Wow.
That would translate to a $44 billion space economy, creating jobs, boosting technological innovation, and establishing India as a major player in this growing global industry.
That's a bold vision, but it sounds like India has a solid foundation to build upon.
Okay.
What are some of the key initiatives that are driving this growth?
There are several key initiatives in play.
Okay.
First, the government has been steadily increasing the space budget, providing the financial resources needed to fund ambitious missions and support cutting-edge research.
Okay.
Second, there's the establishment of InSpace,
In space.
which stands for the Indian National Space Promotion and Authorization Center.
In space. That's a mouthful. What's its role in the grand scheme of things?
InSpace is all about promoting private sector participation in space activities.
Oh, okay.
It's about fostering a more dynamic and competitive space ecosystem, opening up opportunities for startups and businesses to innovate and contribute to India's space ambitions.
So it's about moving beyond the traditional government-led approach
Mm.
and creating a more diverse and vibrant space sector. What other policy measures are in place to encourage this growth?
The government has also implemented policies that allow for 100% foreign direct investment in the space sector.
I see.
This is about attracting international partners, leveraging global expertise, and making India a more attractive destination for space-related investments.
It's about positioning India as a global hub for space technology and innovation. That's exciting. Now let's shift gears to another crucial topic, energy and sustainability. The Bureau of Energy Efficiency, BE, recently organized an international conference called Prakriti, focused on carbon markets.
Prakriti, meaning nature in Sanskrit, is a fitting name for a conference aimed at exploring market-based solutions to address climate change.
Okay.
India is a major emitter of greenhouse gases, so the development of a robust carbon market can play a significant role in our efforts to meet our climate commitments.
Carbon markets are a complex topic.
Yeah.
Could you give us a quick overview of how they work and why they're relevant to India?
Essentially, carbon markets allow countries and companies to trade carbon credits. These credits represent a unit of emissions reductions, so those exceeding their emission limits can buy credits from those who have reduced emissions below their targets. This creates a financial incentive for reducing emissions and promotes investment in cleaner technologies.
So it's like a cap-and-trade system for carbon emissions, encouraging polluters to clean up their act and rewarding those who are already doing their part. But how does the BE fit into this equation?
The BEE plays a vital role in promoting energy efficiency across various sectors,
Okay.
from industries to buildings to transportation.
Right.
By reducing energy consumption, we reduce emissions, which is essential for meeting our climate goals.
So it's a multi-pronged approach, establishing a carbon market to incentivize emissions reductions while simultaneously working to improve energy efficiency and transition to a cleaner energy mix. Speaking of preserving our planet, let's talk about the Svalbard Global Seed Vault, which just received over 14,000 new seed samples.
It's an incredible feat of international collaboration.
Yeah.
The Svalbard Global Seed Vault, located on a remote Norwegian island, serves as a global backup for seed banks worldwide, safeguarding plant diversity for future generations.
It's like a Noah's Ark for seeds, protecting them against a wide range of threats, from natural disasters to war and climate change. It's reassuring to know that such a safeguard exists.
Now, let's turn our attention back to India and an initiative called Sway It on the government e-marketplace.
Sway It, which stands for Startups, Women and Youth Advantage through e-Transactions, is all about promoting inclusivity and entrepreneurship in the public procurement process.
I see.
It provides dedicated storefronts on GEM for startups, women entrepreneurs, and youth, giving them greater visibility and access to government contracts.
That's a fantastic initiative to foster innovation and empower these key demographics to participate in the economy. Okay, for our final segment in this part of our deep dive, let's explore the intersection of technology and law. Artificial intelligence is rapidly transforming various sectors, and the legal system is no exception.
AI is being used in India for a range of legal applications, from streamlining court processes to enhancing crime detection and even translating Supreme Court judgments into multiple regional languages. It's fascinating to see how technology is being used to improve access to justice and make the legal system more efficient and inclusive. Could you give us some specific examples of how AI is being applied in the Indian judiciary?
Certainly. One notable example is the integration of AI solutions into Phase 3 of the eCourts project.
Okay.
This initiative aims to digitize court proceedings, making them more efficient and transparent. AI-powered tools are being deployed for tasks like legal research, case management, and even predicting potential delays using predictive analytics.
So it's about leveraging the power of AI to optimize operations and make the legal system more efficient. What about the issue of language barriers? How is AI helping to address that?
That's another area where AI is making a significant impact. Over 31,000 Supreme Court judgments have been translated into 16 regional languages using AI-assisted tools.
Wow.
This is a major step towards ensuring that justice is accessible to all citizens, regardless of their language.
That's truly remarkable. It's about breaking down barriers and empowering citizens to engage with the legal system in their own language. All right, that's all the time we have for part 1 of our February 27th update. Make sure to tune in for part 2, where we'll delve deeper into these crucial topics. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this deep dive with your fellow UPSC aspirants. See you in part 2.
Welcome back to our deep dive into current affairs, specially curated for all you UPSC aspirants out there.
You got it. Picking up right where we left off.
That's right.
Part 2 of our February 27th, 2025 update.
Unpacking the news you need to know.
Exactly. And, as always, a little reminder, even if we touch on topics we've discussed before, consider it a valuable revision session.
That's right. Repetition is key when you're prepping for an exam as demanding as the UPSC. The more you revisit these key issues, the better you'll understand the nuances, the connections, the potential implications for India's future.
Couldn't agree more. So let's jump right back in. In our last segment, we talked about AI's growing role in the legal system and how it's streamlining processes and improving access to justice. But there's another side to this tech revolution, the potential impact of AI on law enforcement.
AI is transforming law enforcement in fascinating ways. It's being used to analyze crime patterns, identify high-risk areas, and even predict potential criminal activity.
It's like giving law enforcement agencies a crystal ball.
Yeah.
Helping them anticipate and prevent crime before it even happens.
Yeah.
That sounds incredibly powerful, but also a bit unnerving. What are the ethical considerations here?
You've hit upon a crucial point. While the potential benefits are undeniable, we need to be cautious about the potential for misuse and bias. Imagine an AI system that's trained on biased data.
Right.
It could perpetuate existing inequalities and lead to discriminatory outcomes.
So it's not just about developing the technology. It's about ensuring that it's used responsibly and ethically. What steps are being taken to address these concerns?
Well, there's a growing movement to develop ethical guidelines for the use of AI in law enforcement. These guidelines emphasize transparency, accountability, and fairness. The goal is to ensure that AI systems are used to enhance public safety while upholding individual rights and freedoms.
It's a delicate balancing act, but it's encouraging to see that these ethical considerations are being taken seriously. Now, let's move on to a topic that's been generating a lot of buzz lately: India's ambition to become a global semiconductor hub.
That's right. India's first indigenous semiconductor chip is on track to be production-ready by 2025. It's a major step towards reducing our reliance on imports and establishing ourselves as a key player in this strategically important industry.
This is a big deal, right?
Right.
What are the potential benefits for India?
The implications are huge.
Right.
First, it bolsters national security. Semiconductors are essential components in everything from defense systems to critical infrastructure.
Right.
Reducing reliance on foreign suppliers enhances our strategic autonomy.
So it's about ensuring that we have a secure and reliable supply of these critical components, especially in times of geopolitical uncertainty. What other benefits can we expect?
It's also about economic growth and job creation.
Yeah.
The semiconductor industry is a major driver of innovation and high-tech manufacturing. By developing a domestic chip-making ecosystem, India can attract investments, create high-skilled jobs, and boost our overall economic competitiveness.
It's like a domino effect. One strategic move can create a cascade of positive outcomes. But I imagine there are challenges to overcome.
Of course, the semiconductor industry is incredibly complex and capital-intensive. Setting up state-of-the-art fabrication plants, attracting top talent, and building a robust supply chain, these are all significant hurdles.
So it's not just about building the chips, it's about building an entire ecosystem to support this industry. What are some of the key strategies India is pursuing to overcome these challenges?
Well, the government has launched a series of initiatives, including the Semicon India program, which offers financial incentives and tax breaks to attract investments in semiconductor manufacturing. They're also partnering with global tech giants like Micron to leverage their expertise in technology.
So a mix of government support and private sector collaboration.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But it's not just about the tech, right? What about the human capital side of things?
That's another crucial piece of the puzzle. India has a large pool of skilled engineers, but we need to upskill and train them in the specific technologies and processes involved in semiconductor design and manufacturing. Initiatives like specialized training programs, partnerships with universities, and attracting experts from abroad will be key.
It's a long-term investment, building a workforce that can sustain this industry for years to come.
Yeah.
Okay, let's switch gears now and talk about a different kind of global challenge, climate change.
The UN Secretary General's warning about nuclear weapons being a one-way road to annihilation was a chilling reminder of the existential threats we face. But climate change is another existential threat, albeit one that unfolds more gradually.
It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the sheer scale of these global challenges. But it's important to remember that there are solutions, and there are people working tirelessly to find them. What are some of the promising developments in the fight against climate change?
One positive trend is the rapid growth of renewable energy sources like wind and solar power. We're seeing a global shift towards cleaner energy, driven by technological advancements, falling costs, and a growing awareness of the urgency of the climate crisis.
It's a ray of hope amidst the doom and gloom. But technological solutions alone aren't enough, are they? What about the role of individual actions and lifestyle choices?
Absolutely, individual actions matter. Simple things like reducing energy consumption, opting for public transport, and making conscious consumer choices can collectively make a difference. It's about creating a culture of sustainability where every individual feels empowered to contribute to a greener future.
So it's a combination of top-down policy changes and bottom-up individual actions working in tandem to create a more sustainable future. Speaking of collective action, let's talk about a fascinating concept called biodiversity leak.
Biodiversity leak is a relatively new term, but it highlights an important and often overlooked aspect of conservation efforts. Essentially, it refers to the unintended